I've got a package. I've got a problem. I love shopping. Today, I've got a massive Amazon haul. If you're new here, I'm Tara. Welcome. If you're not new, welcome back. I've got a problem. I love shopping. Anyone else find they're shopping late at night? They're clicking add to cart or buy it now and you forget. And the next morning, you're like, oh my goodness, what did I buy? That's me to a T. Everything I bought was on sale. This is a huge Amazon haul. I also went to a local Hobby Lobby store and picked up a couple of things there. You're going to want to stay all the way through to the end. Let's get into it. Let me move this heavy box to the side. Let's start with what I got from Hobby Lobby, and then we will move into the massive Amazon haul. First up, I picked up Dr. P.H. Martin's inks. I stopped at Hobby Lobby yesterday because I had a few minutes to spare, and I figured I'll just run in there and see what they've got. And I came across these inks. I just recently picked up Dr. P.H. Martin's Bleed Proof White, and I love it. I just started using it. And at Hobby Lobby, I saw that not only do they carry that, but they also carry these inks. I am really into fountain pens these days, and these are all waterproof, light fast, and archival, fine art pigments, acid-free, non-toxic. This is the Bombay Set 2. Be sure to stay all the way to the end. I think we're going to do an unboxing of this and swatching these out. I'm dying to see what they look like. I got these for a really great price. And when I was in the store, I looked up on Amazon, and I believe the closest thing you could get to this was about $60. So that's about half price. I also like how small the bottles are. So stay till the end if you want to see what these look like swatched out. I picked up these little small pipettes. I had bought previously these glass eyedroppers, and I've broken almost every single one because I'm very clumsy. And I wanted plastic. I wanted something plastic so that I can fill up my pens. So we are going to use this. Maybe we might use this today. So stay tuned. Stay tuned for that. Now let me share everything I got at Amazon. Are you ready? Friends, I went crazy. I picked up gloves. What does this have to do with art supplies? Let me show you, friends. These are gloves. Okay, this size is perfect. So that when you're painting, you're not getting your sweaty palms all over your canvas, especially with gouache when it can reactivate so easily, but also with watercolor. I've seen other artists use these. They're more designed for working with a graphics tablet and a stylus. These might be too small. I don't know. I don't like the feel of gloves. How many came in here? This is a 4-pack. I bought the size small. So this is one of them, and this is another brand. Previously, I had bought, how do you get in here? Previously, I tried another brand, and they were supposed to be a universal size, and they were so big, I just could not get behind how big they were. How are they different? I'll put this on this hand, if I can figure it out. You can tell I'm not left-handed. So this has an extra special one around. I think I like this better. I like this better. This just feels weird to me. I think this is gonna work out great. You guys use gloves when you're painting? I'm trying new things. Definitely I'm gonna need to wash them first because it feels like doesn't have the best feeling. I really wanted cotton gloves, but I couldn't find any cotton ones for this. See, it shows when you use a stylus. I think I'm going to keep this one. So this is going in the return pile. I picked up a Meeden paint wash cup. This is a porcelain. Typically I'm using, let me show you. Typically, my Mr. Pen palette has the extra piece you pull out, and I've been using this with just 2 water cups. But I think I want to use something a little bit bigger. Ooh, these are huge. Look at how big this is. This is way more along the lines of what I want. Wow. One for clean, one for dirty. And it still fits on here. I kind of do this just so it doesn't get all over my mat, but it's also easier to carry around. I think I really like this. It's porcelain, it's heavy. This is not completely straight, which my OCD brain doesn't know if I like that, but I'm not usually going to be looking straight down into it. I love the white color also. This is a keeper, friends. Next up, I picked up the Speedball. This is a set of dip pens. So you get 2 pen holders, a standard and a crow quill, and an array of the most popular pointed pen nibs, a number 56, number 99, a number 102 crow quill, a 107 hawk quill, a number 108, and a number 512. I have heard really great things about the 512 from many of my planning and fountain pen friends here on YouTube. I have never used a pen like this. The reason I wanted to get something like this is because all of the fountain pens that I have, you put the ink inside. Let me show you. You put the ink inside, but then you're kind of like stuck with whatever you've put inside of the pen until you run out or you have to clean the pen. And I want to do a little bit more experimenting with this style of art. And this was dirt cheap. I think it was like $12 or $13 on Amazon. I'm really excited to give this a try. Are you team like pens and calligraphies? I am. At least I'm trying to be. So I think I'm going to do a whole separate video where we unbox this and test it out. That being said, maybe what we're going to do today is test these 2 out together. Next up, I picked up 2 of these. These are called pumpkin head nibs. Let's take a closer look. Look at that nib. We're just going to have to test it out. I've heard that some of these are super scratchy. Next up, I got these syringes. So just like I have the plastic pipettes, I wanted something like this so that I can draw up ink and squeeze it in. And I got this in particular. I did film an unboxing and testing out. This is the Parallel pen, fountain pen from Pilot. This is a 2.4 millimeter nib. Look at that. I have been having so much fun sketching with this. But the problem is I wanted to put Sailor ink in here, and you cannot fit the Con 70. You have to use the Con 40. It's so hard to fill this thing up. I watched so many YouTube videos and friends saying it's like nearly impossible. So I believe you can fill it up doing it like this. So I definitely want to test that out also at some point. Where is my book with this? I will show you here in a second what I mean with this. This nib is fabulous. So we are definitely going to be testing this out at some point, or maybe I will put some of that, because that video is not yet edited. I will add to it and fill it up with this. I picked up more of these pipettes. I actually bought these first, and let's just see the difference. These are super tiny. Can you see that? And these are huge. You see the difference? They were really inexpensive, like $1 or so, couple bucks. I also could use these for filling up water brushes. Like I could stick some in my go bags just in a pinch. So I don't think you could go wrong with having some of these on hand. I picked up, I believe this is ink. Let's open this up and see what did I get. I have so many inks. But I really have been enjoying using them. So this is the Deleter Black. Oh, that's right. I forgot I got this. This is waterproof, I believe. A matte black ink. It was a really good price. I can't read any of this. It's not in English. It's a pretty small jar. Now, this set did not come with black. I don't think I have any black ink. Now we're set. Next, I got Speedball Super Black India ink. I forget whose video I was watching, but she recommended to get this dip pen and this because it's so inexpensive, like together. This is also a really wide mouth jar. So supposedly it's easier to fill them up. 100% carbon black pigment, highly opaque, permanent, waterproof once dry. Mix well. This was also really inexpensive. Super excited to test this one out. Next, I picked up this handle. I believe this is a handle. I can't read what this is. Takikawa. I think that's how you pronounce it. Takikawa. Is there an easier way to get into this thing? I don't think so. This is a comic pen holder. This is the model T40. Whoever it was, if I can remember, I will put them on the screen because I really watched her video, I think 3 or 4 times. So the nibs go inside of here, and I believe this can hold different nib sizes, so the small and the large. Ooh, this feels really nice in the hand. And I like that it's got this protective cap. So if you have a nib on there, you won't get it all banged up. Takikawa, I think that's how you say it. I like the blue. What I've heard is that if you have this like silicone, I think this is silicone, it's easier to write. I also like that there's a divot. Can you see that divot? Is this called a divot when it goes in? What is that called?
Sure.
Divot? Tom knows a lot. So it's just a little easier to hold. And I like the size of this one. It's super lightweight also. You know we're going to be having some fun with this. Then I picked up another one. Did I? No, what is this? Oh, that's right. I got the Sailor. Which one? The Sailor Fude Demande? Is that what it's called? Let's get in here and take a look. You didn't know this was going to essentially be a, oh, wow. This feels glorious. I love the color. So it is a screw cap. Did you see that? Oh, I forgot that I got this nib. Look at that nib, friends. That is gorgeous. So this is this the 40 degree? I'm going to pause the video for me and I'm going to look this up. This is the Sailor Fude Damanin in pearl white. And this one has the 40 degree angle. I've never used a pen like this before, and I'm really excited to try it out. So with this, does come with a cartridge, but I got something else that I'm going to share in a second because I want to put my own inks inside of these, inside of here. What a nice feel. It's got a really good feel in the hands. This is my first Sailor pen ever. Really like the color and the design of this pen. It's pretty. Next up, I got some converters. Let me show you. So These are the converters that go inside of this pen, I believe, and I got a pack of 2. So this has the spring load, is that what it's called? Push ink into the push ink converter into gripping section firmly and turn the knob in the direction of the arrow so plunger goes fully down. Dip nib assembly into the ink and slowly turn. So you do it this way, dip it in, and you then you would slowly turn it to draw the ink in. So I have 2 of these. And this better fit because it said it did. Supposed to fit on top of here. We are going to have to see, does this fit? Surely it does. I don't think this is going to fit. 2 cartridges were in here. That is really funny. No wonder it didn't fit. Next, I picked up some blending medium. This is from Winsor & Newton. It allows your watercolors to dry slower so that you can blend them better, and you can dilute. For maximum effect, dilute with medium only, can also be mixed with water. We're going to just have to test it out. Have you guys ever used anything like this? Extends working time even in hot climates. I picked up, I have jumped in the deep end, friends. I jumped in the deep end. Let's see, what have we got here? This is Cutico hand bookbinding tools. And you get so much stuff. Oh, so much stuff. So what I really wanted to get was one of these. This is a bone folder. I'm planning on creating my own sketchbooks. Something I've done in the past, but I've never done it this way. When I made sketchbooks in the past, I just used like this kind of like twine, but I want to make them even better, even better. So you get a glue brush, the bone folder, a bookbinding awl, super sharp. This could also come in handy for, instead of me using toothpicks, whenever I fill up my little palettes with paint, either gouache or watercolor, so I'm not so wasteful. Normally I'm using toothpicks and then I just throw them out, but I can just use this and not have to throw them out. You get bookbinding needles. Friends, I've never done anything like this before, but I am interested in this. You get binder clips. You get 4 clips, a sewing thimble. I know I've got one of these with my sewing machine somewhere. And then you get all of this wax thread. This was a really great deal. It wasn't much more than just buying the bone folder by itself. And I was really interested to get the thread. So these are wax thread, 6 different colors, and each roll is 55 meters or 55 yards. I'm really excited about this. Are you interested in doing something like this with me? Would you like us to make a sketchbook together? Let me know if you'd like that, and I will make that happen for you. Next, I got the Schminky Horadime Aquarelle Watercolor in Mars Black. This is the 15 milliliter tube. I got this so that I can create my own custom granulating watercolors. Mars Black is considered to be more of a granulating color. This is PBK 11. I don't think I've ever used Mars Black before, but it's my understanding that if you mix this with a very staining, non-granulating color, you can create beautiful effects. And I am all out of the Lunar Blue. from Daniel Smith, and I want to just start experimenting making my own granulating colors. I do have granulating medium, so we can play around with that also. But I want to create my own little custom colors that I can fill up wells with so that I can get the exact perfect shade that I want. I've been doing whole entire paintings lately just using a few, very limited palette of granulating colors, and I'm in love. I'm in love with it. I have another tube of a different brand. Was it Winsor and Newton? I don't think it didn't come yet. I think it's coming today. And I want to do a head-to-head battle between the two Mars blacks to see which does better. Be sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out on that video when it comes out. Next, I got some pH neutral PVA glue. If you're going to make a sketchbook, you definitely want to use PVA neutral glue. I've got some of this somewhere around here because, like I said, I've done something like this before, but it's been 20 years since I've done anything like that. It's a very small bottle, but it was inexpensive. I'm really excited about diving into making these sketchbooks. I think I want to make really small sketchbooks to start out with. And then we can use different types of paper in it so they're not all the same. That's what I'm interested in doing. The next few things I purchased were very expensive. I picked up the Canon Ivy mini photo printer. This is volume 2. Wow, I am super excited about this. Printer only, new item. It looks like there was a sticker on here and they took it off. When I purchased this, I purchased it to be delivered the same day and it didn't come. It said there was a problem with the delivery. Yeah, they didn't bring it. That was the problem. Oh, wow. This uses zinc, I believe, is how it prints it. Comes with a cord. This is a standard USB cord. Yes, zinc paper. So it comes with 10 sheets. These are sticky back. Oh, I'm so excited to test this out. Every print is a sticker. And there's an app so that you can personalize it and switch it up if you want. Yes, zinc photo paper. And this is the USB-A to C so that you can plug this in and then stick this into a charger or into a computer if you wanted to do it that way. I've heard such great things about this. I was going to get the pink color because what I have heard about the white is that it can stain, but I wanted the white, which is interesting because I love rose gold is one of my favorites, but colors, but I wanted the white. It's just such a clean look. I am planning a whole separate video where we test this out, so stay tuned for that. Then I picked up a case. You can't have a really nice printer like that without having a case to put it in. So this one in particular, ooh, it's nice. It's hard shell. It's matching. I wanted it to be white so it matches. This one has the zippered compartment. Some of the other ones just had it open. I liked that it was zippered. It comes with a strap. This is where the photo printer will fit right inside. And then this, it looks like, pops right on there so that you can hold it on your wrist and walk around with it. I mean, am I going to do that? No, I'm not going to walk around holding it on my wrist. But if I have this thrown in my bag, I'll be able to fish it out easier if it has this strap. I forget who I was watching. They said that they brought this with them on a vacation overseas. And it was great because they ended up giving out like you know how you take photos, like just as an example, whenever we're with our grandsons, we're taking all these photos, but no one ever sees them because in this day and age, we're not doing any printing. I'm really excited about being able to print these out. And I'm really wanting to take photo references like I typically do when I'm outside and then print them out on the little sticker paper and stick it in my sketchbook. So then I have my photo reference and I can on the spot, maybe it's raining, maybe I want to take a photo as soon as I start, and stick it in my sketchbook and paint from life. But if anything goes awry, I have the photo and it's right there. I'm really excited to experiment a little bit more with stuff like this because it just makes my heart happy. Then I picked up extra paper. So this is the 100 pack. Each one of these papers are 2 inches by 3 inches. Peel and stick. I believe this was $50 US when I purchased it on Amazon. And that's a pretty good deal. The printer never needs ink. Like, you're never going to buy ink. I can't wait to test this out. And the last thing I picked up was additional sticker paper, but these are circles, peel and stick circle stickers. I am so excited about this. The sticker size is 0.1.3 inches. So they are tiny, really tiny stickers. This uses a regular sheet of photo paper, but then you have 2 to a page. These are not, the stickers are not waterproof. So if I want to put some stickers on the outside of my journal, I'm going to have to use some type of like a laminate over the top so it doesn't get ruined. That is my entire haul. So now I promise that we are going to test out these inks. So excited. So let's do that. And do I want to test this out? I think I want to do a separate video related to this. So let's go ahead and let's test out this with this pumpkin head nib. You want to? I believe the first time you use a nib, you need to put boiling water over the top and let it soak. So I'm going to go do that and then I'll meet you back here. I think we're going to use my Royal Talon sketchbook. This is the Art Creation sketchbook with 80 sheets, acid-free 140 GSM. So this is not my favorite. First, the paper's super thin. It's also ivory instead of white. I did test out my parallel pen, this, and look at the different line widths that we can get. I've been painting these little paintings. I'm also, I did my sketch of the elephant in here. This was for my 100-day art challenge, thinking I might want to use this paper, but I was not a fan. I based these with watercolor. Now, it looked super warped when I first did it, but it looks fine now. And then for a painting I did yesterday, or the day before, I was doing some thumbnails to see which I liked best. And you can see it handles the pen and ink fairly well. So we're going to use this book. And let's go ahead and get this opened. It comes with this little eyedropper: golden yellow, orange, tangerine, crimson, cherry red, red violet, aqua, turquoise, yellow ochre, terracotta, Van Dyke brown, and sepia. Oh, it's pretty simple. It's pretty simple to load that in. All right, you guys ready? Let's start with the golden yellow. I've used lots of different inks throughout my art career, but I don't think I've ever used these. I've certainly never used a dip pen. It's pretty easy to load it. I'm going to just load it with paint. And I do apologize. This part here is very hard to see because, of course, we're using a very pale yellow color. One of the things I was noticing is that the pen itself, like the nib, seemed super scratchy. It's kind of hard to describe. This is, of course, the first time I've ever used anything like this, but I have heard it's very scratchy. And you can see I'm quickly running out of paint. Now I'm loading up the next color. It's pretty easy to stick the nib inside of the jar, but if I was planning on doing an art piece with this or journaling with this, I think I would rather have it in some type of a more shallow dish or something I could see a little bit more clearly. The nib, like the variation in line width, was very nice, but I just wasn't sure about the very scratchy feeling. But look at how thick of a line you could get. That there's a lot of ink going down for sure. But now, of course, it's dried up. Moving on to the next color. Hopefully you will be able to see this a little bit better. I did feel I was getting the hang of the way that this nib felt, feeling a little bit more confident. I definitely recommend testing out your supplies, swatching them out, seeing how thin of a line can you get, how thick of a line can you get. I had to reload so that I could even write down what shade I was using. Probably because I went so thick with that one line. Moving on to the next shade, doing a test that's very similar. I find it helpful if I'm wanting to get a feel for a color, for the way something works, or I'm honest, if I'm being honest, I'm just experimenting with this nib. This is the tangerine color. It's very, very pretty. Grabbing the next color, a similar test with some squiggles. Can I get a really fine point? Little circles and super thick. I figured I better write down that I'm using the terracotta color before I use up all of the ink. And you can see just how it doesn't go very far. I'm trying to think of an application, like a practical application, when I would want to not have a fountain pen that has ink in it. I think if I'm wanting to change colors frequently or change the nib frequently, that this would be a great type of pen to use. I'm not sure. Do you guys use dip pens? Part of me feels like they're elegant. Like it just feels kind of bougie in my hand, but I don't know if it's going to be super practical. So that was the crimson color. It was a very, very pretty color. But this next color here, I think this is my favorite. It's so gorgeous. It's gorgeous. I really like how these inks feel, and I'm excited to see how they perform in some of my other fountain pens. So this is the cherry red color. Just even like voiceover tower, future tower, looking at this, I have got to ink something with this. I love that it's waterproof, but remember, it's waterproof once it's dry. Moving on to the next color. I'll say that there's not a lot of variation in this set, but for as cheap as it was and how much ink you get, I do think it was a great value. So this is the red violet, and this is a very strong contender along with the cherry red for being my favorite. Now on to the brown shades. So the first is Van Dyke Brown. It's a nice cool shade. I don't know necessarily if I'd want a pen inked with this, but if I'm using a dip pen, I can see the use for it. The next color is Sepia, pretty similar to the Van Dyke Brown. Definitely love the color Sepia. This one in particular wasn't very like richly brown, if that makes sense. Now moving on to the blues. This one is Aqua. It is absolutely gorgeous. I'll say I wish there was more blue in this set. Seems to be more yellowish and reddish tones. I would prefer a few more blues. If I'm being honest, I think I would prefer blues over the browns. Just skip the Van Dyke Brown and the Sepia because I wasn't too impressed with those colors. But I definitely am a fan of this turquoise. It is absolutely stunning. Then I grabbed some of that Speedball, the black, and figured let's just put some of the ink down with this, see what we think of it. And yeah, I mean, it's black. I don't think there's anything too special about it. I also wanted to write the type of nib that I was using so that I would remember, because I have a tendency to forget, my friends. Definitely have a tendency to forget. In terms of if I like this nib, I don't think so. It doesn't seem to last very long. I really like the holder. So we're going to have to test this out with other nibs. With other nibs for sure. Oh boy, I literally just got black everywhere, friends. I've got to go. Oh no, I've got to go wash my hands. What a mess. What an absolute mess. What do you think about the inks? I think I love them. Crimson is gorgeous. The cherry red, I can see wanting to put this in a pen, maybe even like the sailor, and take it out painting. Like, that is gorgeous. A huge fan of the aqua. They're all so pretty. Sepia is pretty. I do really like the black, but it was kind of a mess. I think I'm going to put this cherry red in that sailor pen. I'm very happy that I bought the inks. It was such a great price. The ink is still wet, but I did put it on super thickly. Are you into fountain pens? Do you have fountain pens? Are you into haul videos? What did you think about my haul? What's your favorite thing that I picked up? What other supplies or what other art supplies or stationery supplies do you think I should purchase? If you made it to this point in the video, will you put a pen emoji so I know you are still here? I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, friends.